We have breaking news right now. The House Oversight Committee, in a bipartisan move, has just voted to subpoena the Epstein files from the Department of Justice. This is a significant move and shows that House Republicans are willing to break, not just from Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, but also from Donald Trump, the President of the United States. This also comes as CNN is now reporting that there is a recording between Ghislaine Maxwell and Todd Blanche during their conversation over the past couple weeks in Florida, and the administration is reportedly weighing whether or not to release the transcript from that conversation. But right now, the House Oversight Committee has issued a subpoena to the Justice Department to release all Epstein-related documents within 30 days. Now we turn to the Justice Department. Will the Department of Justice comply? That remains to be seen. Spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news you need to know about. There'll be much more to come very soon.
Only 2 states in the entire country voted unanimously across every county for the same presidential candidate. Trump won all the counties in Oklahoma, and Harris won all the counties in Massachusetts. And when you compare these states side by side, you really start to wonder why people aren't voting for Democrats. The all-Trump state of Oklahoma is 44th in education, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, and dead last 50th in test scores. And when you look at Massachusetts, they are 1st in education, 2nd in healthcare, 1st in quality of life, and 1st in test scores. Kind of hard to argue for Oklahoma here. And it's not just about who they voted for in the election. This is a Republican-run state, and these are the results of that Republican leadership. And this is a state run by Democrats, and those are the results of a state run by Democrats. And if you look at other red states, you'll find the same exact low-quality outcomes you see here. And if you look at other substantially blue states like Massachusetts, you'll see similar outcomes to what you see there, because Democratic policies work and Republican policies don't, because Republican policies go, I don't want to spend any money on anything, we're just going to hope it all works out. It doesn't. And Democratic places go, we need to spend money on basic infrastructure to support people. And what do you know? That works out.
How fucking dare she? Carolyn Leavitt has some goddamn nerve. She isn't a press secretary. She's a wind-up mouthpiece with a pearl necklace and a persecution complex. A Barbie built in a lab for lies. Varnish over vacuum. Lipstick over rot. Yesterday, live on national television, she called millions of Americans Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals.
That the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
Not a mistake, a message. Incitement with a manicure. I am not Hamas. I am not a criminal. I am not an undocumented immigrant. I am an American, a mother, and a citizen, and I will not be fucking quiet. Don't you dare tell me that marching for democracy means I hate my country. Don't you dare call me unpatriotic, because I still believe it can be better. If you can defend a man who sent a mob to attack our capital, you don't love America. You love power. You love chaos. I love this country enough to fight for it. You love it like an abuser loves control. I love it like a mother who loves a wounded child. Carolyn Leavitt should resign, but she won't. Shame doesn't stick to people who trade their souls for airtime. This whole regime is rot in a flag. They don't govern, they gorge. They clutch crosses with one hand and cash with the other. They preach family values while protecting predators. They call truth treason and treason patriotism. They call us criminals to keep us quiet. But we won't shut up. We'll march, we'll vote, we'll drag democracy back from the edge by its fucking hair if we have to. Because when you defend monsters, you become one. And if she had even a shred of a soul left rattling in that hollow chest, she'd apologize, disappear, and crawl back into the shadows where she fucking belongs.
Don't know what to do. I've asked people, what should we do? And I had a friend of mine say, well, you just have to be a decent person, treat other people with respect, and live your life with purpose and meaning. And then I'm like, no, fuck. What gives my life meaning? Well, I guess errands, errands. Like if I got a few good errands a day, I'm pretty good with the purpose and meaning. Some people are boycotting Target, they're boycotting Tesla, they're boycotting Amazon. Yeah, good luck with that one. Try to run an errand if you're boycotting Amazon. Out there in the brick and mortar world, that could take weeks. You might have to go all the way to China for your air fryer. I was out there in that world and I decided to go out and, buy a vacuum, with purpose and meaning. I bought one and I brought it home and I just, right on the side of it, I etched, "This vacuum kills fascists." So I'm doing my part.
So scary. Oh my God, look at all that terrorism. How much they hate America. You know that Hamas.
So I'm here in front of the stage at the No King 2 rally in D.C. They are wrapped up, but follow me as I walk this way. We're on Pennsylvania Avenue, and you can see we got this whole road shut down today. Let me give you a recap of what I saw and what I think you can take away from this rally today. The streets were filled, not just here, but in cities all across America. I think that there's more energy and more momentum this No King than last No King. Why do I think that? Because Donald Trump is making it very clear he hates America, he hates our Constitution, and he wants to be a tyrant. He wants to not have free and fair elections in 2026. He wants to violate the freedom of speech of Americans. And ever since Mike Johnson and the Republicans threatened people this week, more people made a decision to come out today. This was an amazing moment, and I think what we're seeing is all these moments turn into a movement. Watch this.
Go.
The rally's over and the street is still filled. People are standing around, people are talking. There are plenty of organizations out here passing out flyers. There's a huge event happening on November 5th, another one happening on November 22nd. The very next thing happening is a virtual call on Tuesday, October 21st with Indivisible. That's Tuesday, October 21st. Mark your calendar, virtual call with Indivisible. Be there. These coalitions are forming amongst leftists, and what we're seeing is a movement form across the country to those Republicans who say, well, what is one protest going to do? This isn't a protest. This is a moment to gather the energy for the movement, and we're coming.
I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
I just want to make sure I have this straight. The guy that says he's not a king works his ass off sharing memes of himself as a king dumping feces onto American citizens. That seems about right.
Love it, good job. Wow, amazing. Love it, good job. Thank you. Scary, isn't it? I like your shirt, it's cute.
It's armed. Ready to make history?
Let's do it. Cargo lever coming down. Package away.
That's going to leave a mark.
Best delivery we've made all week.
All right, let's head home before anyone looks up.
Coming down.
On this, President Trump has authorized military strikes against suspected drug boats in the Caribbean. As you know, so far more than 20 people, Senator, have been killed in 6 different strikes. Do you believe that these strikes against these suspected drug boats are legal?
No, they go against all of our tradition. You know, when you kill someone, you should know if you're not at war, not in a declared war, you really need to know someone's name at least. You have to accuse them of something. You have to present evidence. So all of these people have been blown up without us knowing their name, without any evidence of a crime. And for decades, if not centuries, when you stop people at sea in international waters or in your own waters, you announce that you're going to board the ship and you're looking for contraband, smuggling, or drugs. This happens every day off of Miami, but we know from Coast Guard statistics that about 25% of the time the Coast Guard boards a ship, there are no drugs. So if our policy now is to blow up every ship we suspect or accuse of drug running, that would be a bizarre world in which 25% of the people might be innocent. The other thing about these speedboats is they're 2,000 miles away from us. If they have drugs, they're probably peddling drugs to one of the islands of Trinidad or Tobago off of Venezuela. The idea that they're coming here is like, it's a huge assumption, and really shouldn't you have to present some proof? It is the difference between war and peace. In war, though, you don't ask people's name. But if they want all-out war where we kill anybody and everybody that is in the country of Venezuela or coming out, that has to have a declaration of war. It's something that is not pretty, very expensive, and I'm not in favor of declaring war on Venezuela, but the Congress should vote. The president shouldn't do this by himself.
So I'm down here at the Vegas No Kings. Thought I'd give you guys the marcher's eye view of the whole thing. Somebody with a nut poster, that's nice. That's good. Ice-T's nuts, that's a good one. I don't think you love America and hate Trump's fascism. There you go. It's got a great Tea Party energy to it. Hi, everybody. What's happening? Wave, give a thumbs up. Let me know you're there. Here I go again. All right. And Vegas still rolls on at the exact same time, so pretty cool. Past the dudes handing out hooker cards, which is very Vegas. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you, enjoy your meal. Thank you. Tip your waitress. We'll be here all week. Thank you very much. Good to see you. There's a baby. Hello, baby. Honk to dump Trump. There we go. Yeah. There's certainly a certain amount of like. I will say there's a certain amount of like maggot death stares that you're getting when you walk around, because they're clearly here. I mean, you can almost go restaurant to restaurant. You know, if they're sitting at, you know, whatever Margaritaville or the local Cracker Barrel, they're going to react in such a way that you can kind of count on them being more pro-Red Hat, as it were. But everybody else is pretty easygoing about everything else, if they're not downright supportive and waving and that kind of stuff. Pretty great. Thank you. Thanks, Maurice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. There you go. My favorite are the guys who think they're covertly filming. They're like walking along with their phones like they're gonna turn the footage in later to like, I found some Antifa. It's amazing that like, if you'd have told a bunch of like Democrats and progressives in 2019, 2016, let's say, that the biggest movement amongst these folks right now would be a pro-1776 movement, it'd be kind of amazing. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Hope you're having fun out if you're out on your march. If you can't be there, then thanks for being with me on this one vicariously. There you go. It's the tail end. This is where everybody turns around. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you for protecting your right to free assembly.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Okay. Hang on. What have I done? What the fuck? Okay. Hang on. Hang on. I'm gonna get this. Aaron says thumbs up. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Mic on. Can you guys hear me? Oh, you know what? I don't think this mic is on. Test, test, test. I think that's just the mic from the phone. Can you guys hear me? I don't think it. I plug. Sometimes when you plug in the Bluetooth. That's just the mic from the phone. See, this is what I have to plug in. This is my little Bluetooth thing, and that's what connects it to the microphone. For some reason, I don't think it works. Okay, testing, testing, testing. Is that better? Yeah, I know you guys can hear me, but before you were just hearing me off of the phone mic. Oh, now it says muted. Now you're muted. Wait a minute. Hello? Okay, testing, testing, testing. Is that better? No, now I'm not muted. Yeah, I know you guys can hear me, but before you were just hearing me. I guess there's a delay. You know, when you guys were saying muted, that's when I was replugging in. Anyhow. All right, so here I am. Here I am. What was the song Hal was going to sing as he was walking down the street? It was like, here I go along this lonely road, or whatever. Me and Hal do the same thing, I guess. When they're playing music out there, you just want to sing along. But anyhow, thanks for being here, guys. I do appreciate you coming and hanging out on the old Trucker John live stream. This is Monday, October 20th. We're 2 days away from, 2 days out from the No Kings protest. We're still, I think we're still a buzz. I think I still feel kind of a high, even though I missed the whole damn thing. It's 11:36 a.m. here in the Pacific time zone, and it is currently 75 degrees in beautiful Las Vegas, and I think we're supposed to get a high of 85 or something like that. So we've got some beautiful weather, beautiful fall weather here in Vegas. So 85, we're pushing the boundaries of being a little bit above normal maybe for this time of year, but not too much. Anyhow, guys, I'm not able to scroll back to the very top, of the chat. It won't let me to the very beginning. But I do believe Sandy Foltz was in there. I saw Sandy, and I think I saw Liberal Dan. I don't know if Liberal Dan is still here, but I saw Liberal Dan. So thanks, Liberal Dan, for popping in. So the point where I'm jumping in at, it's where Jolie is apparently laughing to tears, laughing to the point of crying because that emoji. Probably something from the intro. Maybe it was Mark Maron. I don't know. That made Jolie laugh. We got Roxanne in 1979 says nothing like a break-dancing chicken. Oh yeah, the break-dancing chicken. No, you can't beat that. That cannot be beat. Agoff Twitler's here. Hey, Agoff Twitler. Agoff Twitler. I see an Agoff Twitler over there. Lynn Lynette's here. Hey, Lynn. Good to see you. Lynn Lynette. I used to go to school. One of my very best friends, his name was Lyndall. His brother's name was Lindsay. His mom's name, I believe, was Lynette, and because his sister's name was Lynette, and I think they named the daughter after the mom, Lynette. I think the dad's name was Lyndall, if I'm not mistaken. So you had Lyndall and Lynette. And then they sired Lynette, Lyndall, and Lindsay. So there you go. So when I see your name, Lynette, it just reminded me of my old high school buddy, Lyndall Savage. You never know. Lyndall could be watching right now. You just never know. He could be lurking. That would be like Lyndall to lurk. Sad story. Well, I mean, not sad. Not real sad, but I went. This is probably close to 20 years ago now. 15 years ago. I took my son. My son was pretty little. How old was my son? Probably like 8 or 9. So it's been. My son's now what, 27? How old's my son? Just turned, I guess, 27. So probably less than 20 years ago, 17, 18 years ago, or whatever. I went to my old hometown's football game, the Bell game. Our big rivalry was, I went to Apple Valley High School, and our big rivalry was always Victor Valley High School. And they had the Bell game. It was the Battle of the Bell. And whoever would win would get to take home. We had the big bell, and it would get passed backward. A lot of high schools and even colleges have those type of games, those rivalry games where they have an item that goes back and forth to whoever wins the game, right? And so ours was a big bell. It was like a big old. I think they got it from an old church at one point that was being torn down or something, and some contractor was able to get it, and he donated it. And they started the Battle of the Bell, from the 60s or whatever. And then whoever would win, they would get the bell, and then they would paint it with their school colors, right? So it was a big deal. It was the biggest game of the year for us because we usually sucked. And so the only really game that had any meaning for us was really the Battle of the Bell. And so anyhow, I went back to one for the first time to go watch. I took my son, who was about 8 years old, 8, 9 years old, something like that. And so we go and we're in the stands and we're watching the game. And I think I might have had my old Letterman's jacket on. I think I could still fit into it at that point. I can't now, I don't think. Anyhow, so I remember being in the stands and with my son, and I'm rooting and cheering, and I'm saying stuff like, "Oh, they should have ran this player." I'm being that kind of a dude, right? Oh no, I'm like, look out for the tight ends over the guard, whatever. tight ends lined up on the strong side there. Oh, and I'm just being Mr. Football. And behind me, a few rows behind me, this dude said something like, "Yeah, they should do that," or "Yeah, they're." Where he said he made some comment. And I turned around and I go, "Yeah, see, this guy gets it." And it didn't even dawn on me until I got home, or I don't even know. It might have been weeks later, where all of a sudden the light bulb went off because I hadn't seen Lindell in who knows 20 years or something, and I think that was Lindell Savage. I think that was the guy who said that. I think he knew it was me, but then since I didn't acknowledge him and go, "Hey, Lindell, how you doing?" I didn't do that because I didn't recognize him because he looked so different. It's funny. I'm remembering Lindell from high school, like this skinny dude. In fact, I wonder if I have the picture of me and Lindell. And what I saw was like this 45-year-old guy who was kind of husky, a little bit huskier, and just looked completely different. And it didn't even dawn on me until many, I don't know, I might have been weeks and weeks later where it popped in my head, and I go, "Oh my God, I think that was Lindell." And Lindell was like one of my very best friends, and I didn't even acknowledge him or say hi or any. I feel so, and to this day, I feel bad. And I was so embarrassed because I believe I still had his phone number. I think I had a current phone number. I could have called him, and I hadn't called him. We hadn't been in contact really for a long, long time. But I think I had his phone because I think he just kept his phone number for a long time. And I was like, and I was so embarrassed. And I never called. I should have just called and say, "Hey, dude, was that you? I didn't even recognize you," or whatever. And I didn't. I'm a dick. I'm just a fucking dick for not doing that, and I feel bad. But here, I'm trying to find. I've got a picture of. I got to show you my picture of Lindell now. I've told the whole story of Lindell, and I gotta show you now. Let's see. I know I can find it. I mean, what else have we got to do, right? What else do we got to do? I know you want me to just read your chats. I know. It's like he's not reading my chat. And that's the only reason we come to the show, because there's the guy that he'll read our chats out loud. I know. But I'm going to find the picture of me and Lindell. I know it's in here somewhere. Somewhere. It's got to be in here. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. No. That's the wrong folder. Would it be in here somewhere, I wonder? It might be in this folder. I'm looking in a folder. I got a picture of me and one of my best friends, Mike Whitlock, after we ran a 5K. I used to run 5Ks. Mainly just to oh, here it is. Oh, look. Okay, look, I'll show you. I've got a picture of, I've got two pictures. I've got, one is with me and Lindell, and one is me with his little brother, Lindsay. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first one. This is probably 1979. I think we were still in high school. I graduated in 79. Maybe 78 or 79. I'm on the left. Lindell's on the right. That's my buddy, Lindell. And we would just, we were goofy. We would take goofy pictures. It's in black and white. A lot of times, I was in photography class, and so a lot of times I would have a camera, and we would take black and white photos because that was much easier to develop. We would develop. We had a dark room, and we developed our own film and stuff. Color is a whole different thing. It's really a lot harder, but developing black and white's easier. So that's why I guess that's why when you're in a photography class in high school, they usually just have you do black and white film. So I know it makes it look like that must be 1928 or something. But no, it's about 78, 79, me and Lindell. my buddy Lyndall. And I think one of my assignments, I think it was either photography class or I guess it was that. And they would have assignments where you're supposed to go take an action picture or a still life photo, or whatever. And one of my assignments, it wasn't take a goofy picture with your friend. It was, I think I was supposed to do like an action photo. And actually, I guess this wasn't my assignment. This was somebody else. This might have been Lyndall's assignment because I think Lyndall took this picture. Oh shoot! What happened? I think Lyndall took this picture for his, like action picture. So that's me with the helmet on. And that's Lindsay. That's little Lindsay. He's a lot younger. He was still like in elementary school or something, or probably. And so this picture actually made me kind of famous. I guess this was probably in our junior year. I guess if not I don't think it was senior year, maybe junior year. I don't think it was our sophomore, maybe sophomore year. I don't know. I forget what year. It was somewhere sophomore or junior year. And Lyndall took this picture, so it's we staged it, I got it with the helmet and the play guns, and so he said, Lindsay, get up on that fence, and then he's like, okay, Fowler, stand there, Lindsay, get up on the fence, and then and act like you're gonna attack Fowler, because we always called each other by last names usually, so go, like you're gonna jump Fowler or whatever, and then so he took this picture just as Lindsay was jumping. And then Lyndall, this guy, he developed that picture, and then he, how like in the common areas, or you have these like bulletin boards and stuff around campus, it's like they put like the school dance is going to be there, or any upcoming things they put in there. Well, my friend Lyndall, he made a few copies of this picture. I got one of them. I guess this is the one I got. And he slid one of them into, because the case is like a glass case and has the little lock on it. But he slid it in through the, he was able to slide it in through where the little glass doors came together. He slid it in, and he put this picture in the bulletin board. And the bulletin board, apparently, I didn't really realize how people really, how the student body apparently really looked at that bulletin board a lot, because within about 2 seconds there was a whole crowd of people around the bulletin board, and because I remember I was walking to school, or I was walking into school on campus, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? At first I'm like, is there a fight, or what's going on? And I see all these people, and I kind of make my way through the crowd, and everyone's like looking at me, and then they knew that was me, even though the helmet's over my face. Everyone knew that was me, and everyone started going, hey, there's Army Man, there's Army Man. So I became known as Army Man for quite a while, apparently, and everyone just knew me as Army Man for like, I think that whole year I was Army Man because of Lyndall. And I think that might have been, I don't know if that was sophomore or junior year, but it kind of in retrospect, I guess I could thank Lyndall for making me sort of known on campus or whatever. I don't know, but at the time it was kind of embarrassing. I really felt like shrinking, and shriveling away and hiding, because it was kind of embarrassing. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh, and I kind of, I laughed, but I was just like, oh, that fucker, fucking Lyndall. So Lyndall put that picture up and it was in that bulletin board for, it seems like forever. Like whoever was in charge of opening and closing and putting stuff in there, they left it in there for a long time. So that's that. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So so the bottom picture you got Lyndall, and the top there you got Lindsay. So that's all brought to you by Lynn Lynette. ladies and gentlemen. You can blame Lynn Lynette if you don't like me going off on tangents and I'm not reading the chat. You can blame Lynn Lynette. And as I've been talking, the chat's been scrolling, has been moving along, so I lost a lot of the chat. I saw Christina and Sun Go Squad here. I saw Nick Rich was there. Anna Moore's here. Nick Rich says Venezuela doesn't want war. Bonnie Thompson's here. Good to see Bonnie Thompson. Bethany's here. Hello, Bethany. S. Arbaugh. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad. I'm always glad to see John Glad. Fancy. Hello, Fancy. Good to see you. Petrazi 20's here. Hello. Says hello to TJ in the chat. Hello, Petrazi. Damon Dog, the big dog, is in the driver's lounge. Good to see you. There's Liberal Dan. I'm working, so I'm just listening to the stream and commenting now and then to help Al Gore's rhythm. Thank you, Liberal Dan. I appreciate you. Don't forget, guys, this is Mondays. What happens on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time, guys? Can you guys tell me what happens every Monday, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time? I'll tell you what happens. The Liberal Dan radio show happens. That's what happens. Make sure you check it out. And it's not really on the radio. It's right here on YouTube. So check it out. Liberal Dan every Monday, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Gulf Marines here. Good to see Gulf Marines. Is the LV economy still okay? Well, it's okay. It's slow. It's slower than usual. Slower than normal. But it seems like it's still here. People are still coming. Tinker She says Nevada voted for Trump. It did. Just barely. Just barely, Kinky Streets. It was one of those ones that just barely, but yeah. Still. Horseshoes and hand grenades. David Dog, the big dog, says Trucker John always finds clips I haven't seen. Very cool. Oh, no. I'm glad that you like the clips and that they are somewhat original, I guess. Roxanne says, was that Summer? I don't think so. I don't think Summer was in that anywhere. I didn't see Summer in the clip of Hal on walking on the strip. Bonnie Thomas says, no King's event here was 9 miles away from downtown. I could have walked if it happened downtown. But that's okay. Like I say, if you can't make it, if people who couldn't make it, then get on and share all the feeds that you saw. I'm skipping on down. Christina Sun Go Squad says, John, how do you get all of Hal's footage? I'll never tell. It's my little secret. It's my trade secret. It's a trade secret. Guy, it was just, okay. It was just on fucking Instagram or something. I just do screenshots, okay? All right, the cat's out of the bag. All I do is I just do screen recordings of shit, So I don't have an inside or anything, DPD 5844 says, let me guess, the patrons sitting at the tables were part of the Nazi fascist white nationalist regime of pedophiles. I wouldn't go so far as to say that, DPD. Like Hal said, it's a pretty mixed crowd. Yeah, there were maggots. I'm sure there's maggots sitting in there, but there's also liberals, and there's also people who don't give a fuck about politics one way or the other. That's probably the majority, actually. Golf Marine says, who takes offense at being called Antifa? Mostly Nazis. I think Nazis are pro-Tifa. Yeah. Yeah, they're pro. I think I said that right. Nazis are pro-Tifa. That works, right? That'll work. Kikashi says F Nevada for voting Trump. Well, I'm gonna try to change it, Kikashi. I'll try my best. I know I failed. I didn't carry the state. I thought my fellow Nevadans had a little more sense than that, but obviously there was a disconnect there. So something we got to work on. We got to work on it. We also have a Republican fucking MAGA governor. So, but we have 2 Democratic senators and 5. I think 5 out of the 6 U.S. House districts are Democrats. So we got that going for it. But Nevada's kind of a weird state. The biggest population is here in Clark County. That's the surrounding Las Vegas area. The second biggest is around Reno area, Carson City and Reno. There are lots of union workers because of all the trades, all the the service industry, and all the industries that go along with building hotels and casinos and maintaining them, and with all the conventions, all the the electricians and everything that handle all the conventions. There's a lot of union workers, a lot of union jobs. So you think this will be you would think this will be solidly blue, but as we've discussed before, a lot of union members, for whatever fucking reason, before MAGA, a lot of them have become Republicans, and now a lot of them are full on maggots, and to their own demise. They're so stupid. They don't see that Republicans, and especially Donald Trump, they don't like unions. Why would you be a union member and then support someone who's going to fucking do everything they can to eliminate unions? That's just another one of those perplexing things that I'll never understand. I will never understand it. Okay, so skipping on down a little bit here. Twisted Nerves Painting is here. Says, are we talking shit yet? Hey, we could talk shit right from the get-go. Right from the get-go. Nick Rich, 11:33. So I am, what am I? 26 minutes behind. That's about par for the course, I'd say. 26 minutes behind. About par for the course. Twister Paintings says, good morning. There's Aaron West. We are at full mod capacity. We have Jolie here and Aaron here. Fancy says, Trucker John has a new Halloween hit coming out, soon to be ready. Uh-oh, really? Look at Fancy just pumping out the tunes, cranking out the tunes. I enjoy Fancy. Make sure you guys subscribe to Fancy's channel. Great videos, great song not really parodies. Those are I think original lyrics. And great songs and great visuals to go with it. So check out Fancy right here on YouTube. On a YouTube. All righty then. The mic isn't connected. This is where I'm at. I'm just now getting to where I just connected in. That's how far back I am in the chat. We can skip down a little bit. We can skip through all that. Audio's good. Audio's muted. Now you're good. Now you're bad. Now you're good. Now you're bad. Now you're good. Now you're bad. Now you're bad. Good. I'm bad. Good. I'm good. Bad. Damon Dog, you're all good. Yeah, Golfer in White. Yeah, that was the White Snake song. Yeah, that. Here we go. No, here I go on my own again, or something like that. I can't remember. I'm terrible at remembering lyrics. White Snake. Yeah. Here I go on my own again. Got football playing on the TV. Got the Caps on. Rams played a really good game. I woke up. It's the London game. I woke up. I wanted to watch it. By the time I woke up and turned it on, the Rams were already up 21-0 in the first half. So they went on to win. I think it was 35-7 or something. So congratulations to my Rams. And they have a bye week coming up this week, and that gives them time to all rest and recover and heal up and go and kick some ass. I was watching the game last night, Atlanta and the Niners. Every scoring play is supposedly reviewed by officials in the NFL headquarters. I don't know why they allowed that touchdown where the offensive lineman basically grabbed Christian McCaffrey. Is his name Christian? Whatever the fuck his name is, McCaffrey. Basically just grabbed him by the head and shoulders and pulled him into the end zone. That's clearly, I saw that even before they fucking ran the replay. I was up and down yelling at my couch here. I wasn't yelling at the couch. I was on my couch watching the game, and I jumped up and I'm yelling at the TV. I was yelling. I wasn't yelling at you, Couchy. I was yelling at the TV and saying, that's not a fucking touchdown. That's illegal. That's illegal. You cannot grab someone and pull them to into the end zone. That's a fucking violation. And they allowed it anyhow. Because as you know, of course, I'm rooting for the Falcons because I want the Rams to be the top team in the division. So of course I'm going to root for anyone who plays against any of the other divisional teams. Just like I was rooting for Green Bay to beat Arizona. And Green Bay, you did your fucking job. You got one job, Green Bay, and that's to beat all the other teams besides the Rams. And you did your job. But Atlanta, you were let down by the officiating, I got to say, because that clearly was not a touchdown. Now, that's not to say they wouldn't have scored a touchdown or later, but still, it was a close game. That basically sealed it for the Niners, and it's a shame. Why have instant replay, and why say that you're going to review every scoring play? And it was very, very evident, very, very clear what this lineman did. And how that the way he just pulled him into the end zone, very, very clear. Why even bother having instant replay and having that there? It's a sham. It's a sham. It's a fix. They're just fixed. The officials are fixed and playing favorites to San Francisco. It's a shame. They should have played that game under what do you call it? Under protest. They should have no kings that game. Anyhow, P Dubs is here. Hey P Dubs, good to see you. Liber Dan's here. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Oh, this is a different one. Or whatever it was, Scorpion sang. Yeah. Here I am. Do. Rocked you like a Herman Cain. I don't have facts to back this up. That was a famous Herman Cain thing that he said at a debate. I think it was a presidential debate. He was about to say something against one of the. I don't think it was Trump. I forget who he didn't have the facts for. But he actually had the audacity to say that he didn't have the facts about something that he was just about to say at a presidential debate. And then he goes to Tulsa, Trump rally in Tulsa, sans mask during the height of COVID. Lo and behold, a few weeks later, the man was tits up. So, there you go. Lynn Lynette said, "I made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time." Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're all into the song. I guess. Yeah, it's a great song, actually. I like that song. Christina and Son Ghost Squad says, "Here." Okay, Christina is also doing the song. Here I go walking on my own down the only road. Yeah, I like that song. That was the White Snake. Yep. That's how far behind I am, guys, in the chat. The White Snake thing was like, seems like it was hours ago. That was me going through the whole Lyndall Lindsay thing. All that, Anyhow. All right, moving on. Let me move on a little bit. Moving on. Wasn't that a song too? I'm moving on. Mad Max Slava, you fucking cranny. Absolutely. And look, my hat is kind of got some Ukrainian colors in there. So, I think I could safely say that the Los Angeles Rams are pro-Ukrainian. I'm going to run with that. I'm going with it. Prove me wrong. Jolie says, are you subbed to P-Dubs yet? P-Dubs is live on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. There's the link right there to P-Dubs. She's doing live streams, and she had some great footage of her in her little scooter thingy, going down to the No Kings march, protest, whatever we call it. And I watched the one where she's walking alongside this lady who had this great costume on, where it looked like she was being held by a big green thing. I don't know. And I thought it was very interesting, and it was very. I love that. It was a great. I love how P-Dubs is so good at handling someone who this lady that I don't know if you guys saw it, but you should go see it. You should go watch P-Dubs her video from Saturday when she's talking to the lady. You'll see the lady. She's a very nice looking lady. Has a cap on, and it looks like a big giant green monster is holding her, but it's a costume where she's actually I don't want to spoil the magic of that, but you guys should watch it. And the lady that she was walking along, I think, was very sincere, very nice person, but she kind of repeated some of those tropes, like both sides do it, both Democrats and Republicans, and that kind of stuff. And believe me, she was sincere. She was pro like no kings and all that kind of stuff. But there was a few things during that conversation where you're like, oh boy, you're like, oh shit. And P-Dubs was this awesome, the way she just didn't get confrontational, didn't get argumentative, really, didn't, just kept it cool and said, but really, I think that, the Democrats are at least, they're trying to get healthcare passed or whatever. She would just, P-Dubs just stayed on and didn't, didn't like attack that person, which is something I need to work on. So when I see P-Dubs, when I see that video, that inspires me to try to be better. If I'm talking with someone who I think, is saying incorrect stuff, or, that the whole, both sides do it, both sides are the same thing, that inspires me to be more, tactful, I guess. And I don't know if diplomatic and tactful and just civil, and not go into attack mode or whatever. So that was a great video. So you guys should check it out. P-Dubs. There's the link. Give her a subscribe, and then watch her videos. And it really incredible video, I think, of P-Dubs out there at the No Kings event at where she's at, over somewhere in the East Coast area. Yeah, there's P-Dubs right there. I see P-Dubs in the chat. Gulf Marine, early morning COVID's out. Herman Cain is real loud, excerpt from Rocky like Herman Cain. Christina Sun Go Squad says, hi, Dan. Yeah, there were so many people out protesting. I was in New York, in Queens, and we had like an easy 1,000 people. We weren't even in the city. They're saying 7 million, right? All across the country. 7 million. I think we should do it again. And I think there are. You saw on the Jolly Good Ginger clip there that he did reference some more events coming up in the future. And I think that We need to keep this should be a movement. And people are saying, what's next? What should we talk about next? It can't just be about no kings all the time. What should be next? And I wrote this on Blue Sky, and I think Damon Dog saw it and gave it a heart or whatever. I'm saying, okay, well, let's get something we can all get on board with. The Epstein files. Release the goddamn Epstein files. I think that's because this no kings thing, we're seeing a lot of, I think, people from the right that kind of joined in. Let's do the release the Epstein files. Maybe that should be the next big one. We'll get a whole lot of fucking right wing support on that, I think. How about save our fucking healthcare? That should be it too. How about fucking do your job, Mike Johnson? Swear in Adelita Grijalva, representative in Arizona. Do your fucking job, Mike Johnson. Swear her in. These are things that we can get behind, and these are things that we could make as a focal point for the next march, in my opinion. What do you guys think? If there's anything else, I'm sure you guys have a lot of ideas of what should be the topics of the next march. And we can funnel it down. It doesn't have to be one. It could be 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we can have a little handful of grievances, right? James Jaramillo is here, just listening in. Lots of stuff to get done. Busy. Roxanne here, 79 is here, talking to Karen Ames. Did I say hi to? If I didn't say hi to Karen Ames, I didn't see you. So hi, Karen Ames. Good to see you from the Victor Valley. Maybe I should say. I don't know if that's is that a form of doxing? If it is, I'm sorry. I went to Apple Valley High School, so I doxed myself. DPD 5844 says, did anyone hear the regime sent back the 2 survivors from the Venezuelan boat explosion? Were sent back to Ecuador and Colombia, where they will most likely be executed if they made it. I didn't. I heard that there were 2 survivors, but I didn't hear what happened to them. I haven't heard any of that. Yeah, so I don't know. Just skip it on down a little bit here. Roxanne's folding laundry, so we can skip that. I think we can skip that. Sandy Foltz, the Dodgers made it to the World Series. I know, Sandy. Hello, Sandy, by the way. Thanks for being here. I'm very aware that the Dodgers made it to the World Series. Nick Rich says, I was looking for Antifa at my high school reunion. Couldn't find her. She's in hiding. I think she's in hiding. Christina and Sun Ghost Squad says, I have the same phone number that I had when I originally got my cell phone. When cell phones first came out, basically I had Voice Dream, and I just kept changing the number over T-Mobile. Sandy Foltz said, I had my 40th reunion in 2022. Gin Up the Bass is here. Hey, Gin Up the Bass. It says, you were BFFs with my pillow Lindell in high school. Yeah, right. TJ, you're right. You're a dick. Call Lindell right fucking now and make this right. You have to. I think I've since lost the number, though, unfortunately. All right, it's buried in a box somewhere, probably. I don't think I even have it on my phone at this point. Mad Max says, I saw a sign saying, I am Aunt Tifa, held by an older lady. That's funny. Catherine Real Health Talk says, hi, everyone. Hi, TJ just got here. Great turnout Saturday. Jet the Base says, Trucker John and Lindell ready to go see Freddie Mercury clean. Well, you know what? I got to tell you. Queen was one of my favorite bands in high school, so you might be onto something. I don't know, but Queen's still one of my favorite bands, as a matter of fact. But it's kind of, I do think about those times, and all the guys that I ran with, they were all trying to be macho, as you can see in this picture, right? All trying to be macho, and it was a lot of like, anti-gay slurs being thrown around, right, all the time. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. And but cranking up Queen, and we knew. Everyone knew Freddie Mercury was gay, but in fact, the rumor back then was that the entire band was gay and that they were all fucking each other, or they were all married to each other. That I remember that. Do you guys remember that rumor that all the members of Queen were married to each other, or like not all four, but that somehow they were two couples or whatever. I remember that rumor, and yet we were like, but I do remember saying, well, but they fucking rock, or something like that. Of course, as it turns out, I think the only one that was actually in my day we would call it bi. Now we would probably call it non-binary of Freddie, because he did have a girlfriend that I think he loved very, very much. And if you saw the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, if that's any truth to that, she just couldn't hang with the fact that he was also into dudes, and so she was like, nope, sorry. But he still loved her. So I guess I don't know if we can call Freddie non-binary or bi or whatever. But back in the day, it was just like, yeah, they're gay, but they fucking rock, man. And I remember cranking Queen up out of the bonfires and out of the river, and when we're all drinking beer and cranking up Queen, David Dog says you can use AI to colorize those photos and turn them into action vids. Oh yeah, that's true, David Dog. That might be fun. That might be a fun thing to do. Catherine Real Health Talk says, who's in California? What the fuck was that explosive over a highway that injured CHP? That was a weird deal. That was a weird fucking deal. Look, guys, I was born and raised in California. I lived the first 59 years of my life in California. I lived and grew up in Southern California, not as southern as down there, Camp Pendleton, but I've driven either I don't know if you call it socially or even professionally as a truck driver. I've driven down that stretch of Interstate 5 between LA and San Diego, who knows how many times, many, many dozens of times probably. I'm very familiar with Camp Pendleton, where it's at. You see it, they have signs up for it, and Interstate 5 for you, like if you're not from around here, okay, so Interstate 5, it's kind of like I-95 corridor on the East Coast. That's what the I-5 is like here on the West Coast. It goes from San Diego, it runs right up California, up through Oregon, up through Washington, all the way to the Canadian border. So that's the I-5 corridor. And most of I-5 is pretty much like inland. Even in Oregon, Washington, most of California, it's pretty much like in the center of the state. It goes up and down the state. But down there, when you get past LA, it starts to get really close to the coast. And the closer you get to San Diego, you could look out and you can see the Pacific Ocean. I mean, it's right there. I mean, you can almost reach out and touch it. And there's a lot of campgrounds, and there's like San Onofre. There's that was the big like nuclear power place there. You could see those. And as you go down a little further, and you could see Camp Pendleton, USMC, U.S. Marine Corps, and you can see signs, and you can just see all these open, rolling hills. You don't really see too much of the infrastructure. I guess that's back further. They've got barracks, and they've got all the base facilities and stuff. But this has miles and miles and miles and many miles. I mean, it's a huge training center, and they do. It's like 200 square miles. This place. That's how big it is. It's as big as Apple Valley, where I grew up, probably, in terms of square footage. And also, in terms of the personnel and the people that go in and out there. Tens and tens and thousands of people go to this base. And they have, like I said, all kinds of land out there, and they do munitions training. So having bombs and munitions and stuff go off over there is not uncommon. That's on the east side of the freeway, let's say, where it's kind of inland. On the right side or the west side of the freeway, I say right if you're heading south to San Diego. So on the west side is the beach, and they have 17 miles of beach that is part of Camp Pendleton. And coincidentally, it was 17 miles of I-5 that was closed down. I am presuming that is the 17 miles that was closed, the part that encompasses Camp Pendleton, because they have 17 miles, and it was 17 miles was closed. But on the right, as you drive down, every time I've gone down, on the left, you see Camp Pendleton. That's on the east side. On the coast side, the beach side, you see Navy facilities, and I know Navy, U.S. the Marine Corps is part of the Navy, but on the beach side, I used to see buildings that were marked as naval stuff, and I think that's where they had the big the Navy SEALs train there. So they have a Navy SEALs facility with, I think they have probably barracks and training rooms and all the rooms there and stuff. And that's where not only the Navy SEALs train there, they train on their underwater diving, and they train on, getting all the water, training in water, and also the Marines train there, and they practice amphibious landings, all that kind of Marine shit. So it's a great place because they've got all the inland stuff where they can roam around out there and blow shit up. They got the coast. They got the beach, and they can practice, landing on beaches. And for the SEALs, they can practice diving and underwater. They do a lot of underwater. They have to practice on setting mines and underwater bombs and shit. So they do all that shit. All that shit go, and they've been doing it for decades. It's been there. I'm 65 years old. That shit's been there at least as long as I've been alive. I'm pretty sure, probably longer. That shit has been there forever. I've lived in the area. I've driven through the area dozens and dozens of times. And not once do I remember ever hearing of a bomb being fired. Now, I'm not saying they don't fire munitions. They do. But I've never heard one like going over the freeway and where one detonated too soon or didn't or something, and it detonated over the freeway on the southbound lanes. And the reports were there were motorcycle cops, because they had cops out there, because J.D. Vance was out there on the beach watching them do shit, they were putting on a little show for him and his wife, I guess an audience of two, because I didn't see anybody else out there other than military personnel. And they had regular CHP cops. CHP, for you guys don't know, that's the California Highway Patrol. They're basically the state troopers. Whatever you guys call them in your state, you got state troopers and highway patrol. Here we got California Highway Patrol, same thing as a state trooper, basically. They had cars out there, and they had motorcycle cops. CHP also, if you ever watch the show Chips, they have motorcycles. The motorcycle cops said they could feel like all these like pebbles falling down all over them. And one of the cop cars, then they showed a picture of this chunk. They called it shrapnel. But it was a big chunk that landed, a big chunk of like metal, of iron or whatever, this big and round. It landed onto the fucking car and the hood of the car and put a big dent in the hood of the car. Fortunately, no one was hit. If that piece of shrapnel had landed, now the motorcycle cops are probably wearing helmets. I don't know if that would offer protection. The officers in cars, they just wear hats and shit. So if that had fallen on someone's head, it would have went right through the skull and killed the guy, So they're lucky that no one got killed. And is it just coincidental that in my decades and decades and decades of living in the area and driving past the area and knowing and being somewhat familiar about this area, Camp Pendleton, Not once have I ever heard of anything ever happening like on the freeway, of anyone catching any shrapnel on the freeway or getting peppered with the debris and or falling. And I've never heard of that in my life. Is it coincidental that we have a fuck up drunk fucking Secretary of Defense, and we have a fucked up dipshit vice president, and we have a fucked up moron president in charge? Is it just coincidence? I don't think so. I guess that's my long-winded way of saying that I don't think this is coincidence. I don't think it was intentional. I just think they're fuck-ups. I don't think they intentionally wanted that munition to detonate too early and like over the freeway. I don't think they wanted it, but I just think, what is it? The rot starts from the head down. And so I think our really great institutions like the USMC and the Navy, we are seeing a degradation. We are seeing a deterioration because of the leadership. The commander-in-chief is a fucking moron. Fucking Keg Breath is a fucking drunk moron. In a statement they released, they said that all the protocols were followed. The standing operating procedures were followed, and double checked and triple checked, and everything was good to go. I don't know. They say there's no such thing as coincidence. I think that we're just seeing, and again, it's just like as soon as the Trump administration took over, we started seeing airplanes fall out of the sky. Because their transportation secretary is a fucking, from the real world, or whatever that was, an MTV show. I mean, that's what's scary. That's what's scary about what's going on now. I think is we are being led by that kakistocracy. Remember that word we all learned? This is a kakistocracy, meaning that we are being led by a bunch of incompetent idiots who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And we're seeing it when we see all the things happening with airline travel. And now we're seeing it with this fucking bomb, I guess it was a howitzer, 155 howitzer munition that went off. So we're seeing, we're just seeing it left and right, the incompetence. And it's scary to think we're not even a year in. We're only 10 months in or whatever. That's the scary thing. It's just getting started. We're just at the tip of the iceberg, as I've heard people say, in so many ways, in this incompetence and in the hardships that we're about to see. We're just at the tip of the fucking iceberg. So I went off on another tangent. I'm probably 30 minutes or 30 miles behind in the chat. So I'm going to skip along a little bit here. Roxanne, I sang those words to TJ. He'll get them, hopefully. I did skip down in the interest of time. So I don't know. Just in the interest of time here. I know I'm 30 minutes behind. So, and the thing is, I'm about to turn the AC on. It gets really hot. I shut the window. It's been so nice and cool that I've been able to leave my window open, and it gets really nice and cool in here, and I don't even have to run the AC. I really haven't run the AC hardly at all for the last few days. But when I do the show, I shut the window because I just feel like I don't want the window open, and here I am yelling, and someone might call 911 or something. I don't know. Like, there's some guy, he's yelling, he's in distress. So I shut the window, and when I shut the window, it starts to get a little bit warm in here. So I'm tempted to turn the AC back on. But anyhow, let's see if I can wait a little bit longer. All right, I'm skipping down, guys, because I know I'm really behind in the chat. Jonathan Earl is here. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you. Jonathan says, I completely understand. It's a made-up word as a person with reading problems. I think we were talking about dyslexia. I saw something about dyslexia. Yeah. Reading problems. Harry Potter was one of the worst books I could have decided to read, all the made-up goddamn words. And also, I think that at least I started reading the very first one. I only got through the first chapter. And I think the writing was just the writing. Even if you don't have dyslexia, the writing I thought was really horrible. I couldn't get through it. I like the movies. So I think she's good at maybe a concept of the story, but and maybe I shouldn't judge it off of one chapter. Maybe I should have read more. But the first chapter of the very first book was so fucking, I don't know, ham-handed or on the nose. It just was horrible. I couldn't read. I couldn't go on. I couldn't read any more than the one chapter of the first Harry Potter book. Again, I liked the movies. I thought the movies were all pretty good, but as far as maybe her writing got better as she went along. I don't know. Maybe if there's anyone in the chat that has read more than one chapter of what's her fucking name, Rowling or whatever. If you've read more than that and you have an opinion on that, then let me know. Here's Joe. He's got the Fancy's YouTube channel link to the Fancy channels. Be sure absolutely go check out Fancy. Give Fancy a sub and watch her videos. They're very, very entertaining, and you can just spend the whole day watching them. They're so great. They're so great. Jorgen Johansson is here. Hey, Jorgen, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Jorgen says, keep on fighting on the streets, freedom fighters. We're gonna keep marching peacefully. I'm looking forward to some future marches, and I'm looking forward to getting there on time next time. Because on Saturday, I did not make it on time. I got there late, and everything was pretty much done and over with by the time I got there. So if you're going to go, make sure you go on time or early or whatever. All right, I'm skipping down, guys. I know I'm 55 minutes behind in the chat, maybe. And I'm turning the AC on. See, with the window closed, it just gets like stuffy in here. Or not, it's not stuffy, it just gets warm. Maybe that's stuffy. I don't know, but it gets warm. Mad Max says, Carol lying, leave it alone. Oh, Carol lying, leave it alone is a disgusting total scumbucket. Biatch. That smells like, and I don't know what that is. A ladybug? I don't know. I don't know what that emoji is. But I don't know what she smells like because I've never been around her. So I have no idea what she smells like, to tell the truth. Egal Twitler says Trump is currently demolishing portions of the east wing of the White House to build his ballroom. That should not be allowed. There's lots of things that I guess shouldn't be allowed, but I mean, Here's Jolie. I think this is in reference to the video I was talking about. The link to that says Pete Dub's video, a chat with a former service member. I recommend that. I thought it was just really beautiful how Pete Dubs handled that situation, because she obviously, the person she was talking to was obviously a very nice, sweet person who was a service person, who was a veteran, and and we're always thankful for people's service. And I just thought the way P Dubs handled that was beautiful, and it's a good template for us all to follow. If we're talking to people and they're being civil, they're not hostile, but they say stuff that's a little like a little, you kind of want to go, what? Really? And I thought P Dubs handled it expertly and beautifully. All right, guys. So I'm skipping down. Mad Max says, "Bless you, Johnny." So how long ago was it when I sneezed? It was probably a half hour ago. So that's how far behind I am on here. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. Hey, Elizabeth Martinez is here. Buenos dias, John. Hello. World peace. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in to the old driver's lounge. I do appreciate you. MJ Daniel from up Washington State is here. Hey, MJ. Good to see you. MJ says Democrats are far from perfect, but they have given the U.S. pretty much every good thing since the 30s, and the GOP wants to reverse all of them. That's the difference. That is a difference. Both parties used to work together. Yeah, there was a lot more bipartisanship, certainly, and and yeah, they want to take away all the FDR stuff, all the New Deal stuff. They won't be happy until people are just stepping over the dead bodies from people just being kicked out on the street and starving to death. They won't be happy until that happens, and it not that doesn't happen now, but I mean in mass numbers, because that's what was happening after the the stock market crash and the Great Depression, and there were no safety social nets, nothing, and people were literally just dying, starving to death in the streets. And you'll say, well, it happens now. Yeah, that probably happens now, but it wasn't just then. It was commonplace, like everywhere, and that's why FDR said we got to do something about this. We got to fix this. Fancy says Trucker John looks hungry on that picture to me. I just want to lead him to a bag of burgers. Oh, come on. That's ridiculous. Don't skinny shame me. Don't skinny shame me. I would give my left nut to be that thin again. Let's see. DPD 5844 says the movement should occur every weekend and not just every 3 or 4 months. Surely democracy and human rights is much more important than football and lounging around the house. I think it is going to be, they are going to step it up, I think. I think it is going to be much more. I don't know if it's going to be every weekend, but it should be more often. And as things get worse, it'll probably get more often. Because more and more people are going to be hurt and pissed. Mad Max says first she would have to delouse herself. Okay, I think that might have been the Kevin Levitt thing. Elizabeth Martinez says the funniest sign a young man 12 years old was holding said, "I'm here because you stole my girlfriend." Oh my gosh, that is funny and sad at the same time, because could be true. All right, skipping down, trying to catch up a little bit. MJ Daniel says had some women dressed in full handmaids outfits here in Olympia. Lots of good costumes and signs. Karen Ames, Queen is my absolute favorite band. I love Queen too. I love Queen. I've loved them probably ever since I first heard Killer Queen. MJ Daniel says, no, never heard that one. Freddie was pretty flaming though. That's a bit mid-thread. I don't know which one you didn't hear. Or maybe the thing I said of them all being gay and all being married to each other. I remember my buddies in high school said that, that they were all gay, and they were married to, like, the drummer was married to the bass player, and I guess Freddie was married to Brian May or whatever. So anyhow, Jenna Bass, Trucker John, Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle. Yeah, what about it? What about it? Bicycle, bicycle, I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. Yeah, that one? What about it? What about it, Jen? Now, during the last live stream, when I was on the strip, 2 hours late or whatever from the event, I was asking you, Jen, if you ever got your sign up, and you never answered me. Did you ever get your sign up? But you didn't have the courage to answer me, I guess. I don't know. MJ Daniel, Fort Lewis McCord. I know that's the, I've seen that base too. It's close to where we are, and they do artillery training all the time, makes windows and rattles sometimes. Jonathan Earl says, yeah, it sucks because, like, we still don't even know exactly what happened. And of course, because the explosive power of the ordnance, there wasn't anything left. Karen Ames, they also had Amtrak closed all day too because of it. Yes, you are right about 17-mile stretch, John. Bethany says, Trucker John loved Queen and Freddie. His first girlfriend was named Mary. They still remain friends after they broke up. Yeah, they were lifelong friends, like best friends. And one of my favorite Queen songs, You're My Best Friend, was apparently written about her. David Duck says some CHP vehicles were struck with shrapnel. Yeah, I hope it was Sergeant Baker and Frank Pontrelli. Yeah, they were on the. They would have been the ones on the choppers. Well, they weren't choppers. Those aren't choppers, but on the well, they're not even Harleys, but on the motorcycles. Petrozzi says it's funny that Keg's Breath said the halls of Montezuma in front of the Marines. What a derp. Jonathan Earl says Apple Valley, you a high desert boy. That's cool. It's developed compared to back in the day. Yeah, it's built up a lot since I was there. I graduated in '79. You can see in that picture of me, with the Army Man picture. That's just like that fence. That was the fence along Lindell's driveway, and you can see, just open fields of desert, and that's probably all. That field is probably all like housing development now. Yeah, Fancy says they have never done that overpopulated areas. Like I said, I've never seen it. I know that I know they do that shit. They've got 200 square miles of land where they can blow up all the shit they want. I've never heard of them doing it over a freeway before. Karen Ames says they wanted missiles shot over I-5 to Camp Pendleton. Thankfully, it was artillery. Trump wanted the chaos. Well, I believe they shot it. Well, yeah, I'm not sure what direction it was going. Because I know I saw a video where they did fire some ordnances on the beach because you could see the explosions. It was like Vance and his wife. They were standing on kind of overlooking the beach, and they were watching the amphibious landings that they were doing, demonstrating for that. And down in the distance on the beach, you could see some black smoke where they had fired something on the beach, and that's not over the freeway. That's like right on the beach. What I saw in the video. All right, I'm skipping down. Roxanne 79 says JD's motorcade was hit by the shrapnel. I think I read that. Well, what I read was that two of the CHP cars that were part of JD Vance's motorcade, I guess, after JD Vance was dropped off and taken to wherever he was taken, then two of those cars pulled out, and then they went back to help with closing the freeway off. And those two cars were hit with shrapnel. Those were CHP units. Lynn Lynette says I'm a good human. Thank you, Lynn Lynette. All right, skipping down. I'm skipping down. Magmac says Smeghead gets drunk and plays with the drones, killing people, driving their boats off the coast of Venezuela. He thinks they are drug dealers, so that's his justification. Fuck him. Magmac, Trucker John, did they get rid of your sleeping partners yet? Well, knock on wood, I haven't seen any since I guess it was Saturday's show, where I saw one was crawling on the arm of this chair right here during the show. And then prior to that, I had seen one in the bathroom, one on the sink. And since then, I have not seen any. So knock on wood. Now, I did go and buy some of those combat traps. And I haven't put them out yet because I read the instructions. It's a box of 12, I think. And it says to put them all out, not just to do like one. It says put them all out. And it also says, like, it says don't put them out like if you're going to be spraying or whatever. I think it says something to that effect. And the apartment complex, they have another day scheduled of spraying. And they're going to do that no matter what. So, and I forget if it's this Wednesday or the following Wednesday, but it's either this Wednesday or the following Wednesday. They're supposed to come out and spray again. So I'm gonna wait until after that, and then I'm gonna put the combat traps out. But fancy, I did get a pack of the combat trap. I bought those actually Saturday when I was coming home from the protest. The bus stops right in front of Albertsons, and I went over to Albertsons and bought a pack. And in fact, on the one shelf they had combat, and I guess it might just be a little box. I don't know how many are in it, but there was like they had like a tray, and I looked at first. I looked in the tray, and the thing was empty. They were all sold out. What I'm trying to say is they were sold out, and I was like, oh fuck. I go, I must not be the only one having the roach problem. They're all sold out. And then I looked down on the next shelf down, and then there was another combat box, a different box, the box of 12. I think the ones that sold out there were smaller boxes. Maybe it was 3 or something. I don't know, whatever it was. But then in the next shelf down was the one that I bought, is the box of 12, and they had plenty of those. But apparently those things are flying off the shelves, folks. All right, just skipping down. Mad Mac, I love Harry Potter. Jonathan Earl, drunker supremacist. Wino supremacist. I guess we're playing around with J.K. Rowling, Mad Mac. Did you ever read? Have you guys read the books? Because am I the only one that thinks she's a shitty writer? And should I have given her more than one chapter of the first book before I make such a inflammatory declaration, I guess? Petrozzi 20 says, I read the first Harry Potter to my son, and we got through 2 chapters, and he tuned out. Wow. Wow, that's saying something. That's definitely saying something. David Dog says, open the window and give your neighbors some knowledge. Yeah. Jim Bass says, Trucker John, solid win by the Rams yesterday. Can we at least agree that Sean McVay's capri coaching pants are terrible? Can't we at least agree on that? I'm not. Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Not that I really take much notice of it. I do know that he did injure. Was it his Achilles or his plantar fictitious? What? I don't know. He has some sort of a foot injury. I don't know if that has something to do with it. He's just going super casual. I'm not a fan of that style, but yeah. But he's still a great coach, and he's better than he's a better coach than San Francisco. What's his face? Any day of the week. I'll take Sean McVay over any other head coach in the fucking entire NFL. Any fucking day. DPD 5844 says J.K. Rowling's books were inconsistent with plot and logic. The characters weren't fully developed, and the pacing of the structure of the storyline. Okay. Linda Net says, I like the 2 naked men in San Francisco Legends. I don't know who that was. David Dog says, I love the sign, Trump hit on my girlfriend. A 12-year-old boy was holding it. Jenna Bay says, Trucker John, I did answer you. You didn't have the courage to read it. The Trump FUD Kids sign did not make it up yet. It's going to. Oh. Well, I didn't see it. It had nothing to do with courage. Not that I'm so courageous, but I just didn't see it. So it did not. This just in. Breaking news. The Gin of the Base's sign, Trump FUD Kids, did not make it up. Why? Talk about courage or lack thereof. Why not? Why didn't you put it up? You too afraid? Or did you just not have, anyone else willing to help you put it up? Because it was, maybe that was a 2-person job or something. I don't know. Jolie says, yay, my copy of John Fugelsang's book, Separation of Church and Hate, finally came. Can't wait to read it. I know. I want to get that. Bethany S. Arbaugh says, Trucker John, you and your friends look great in those photos. Thank you, Bethany. I told you I'd give my left nut to look that way again. Jim Bay says, Trucker John, now as far as what about fat bottom girls or bicycle, I was hoping you would sing for us, and you did. Thank you. I'm loving Trucker John acapella. It should be acapella sing song. Anyhow, bicycle. Oh yeah. Now that song's in my head. And now it won't go away. And there's another link for P-Dubs. Give P-Dubs all your love. Give P-Dubs all your love. Go over there and sub to the show. Watch the videos. Petroli 20 says, when I lived in the desert, we had lots of fire ants. They came up the plumbing, so they were always in the bathtub. David Dog, plantar fasciitis. I don't know if that's what Sean McVay. Something happened. He hurt his foot a few games ago. It might have been in the San Francisco game. I don't know. Where he was running up and down the sideline, and he actually fucked his leg up pretty bad. So have a little compassion, Jen. Have a little compassion. Jolie says, just a reminder, Hal is going on early today. Oh, what time? Maybe we can just keep this going and just raid over to Hal. I don't know. Jackie says, hi, Trucker John. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. We got 41 watching, and we are acting like very good Democrats. We have a pretty good surplus of thumbs ups. 41 watching, 52 thumbs ups. It always, makes me feel better when I see that we are acting like good Democrats. Damon Dog, I left my fuck truck flag at home. Roxanne says, TJ, Jen was definitely not afraid. Roxanne, stand by your man, girl. Roxanne, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Roxanne, there, standing by her man. Absolutely, absolutely. I know. You know me and Jen, we just bust each other's balls. Karen Ames says, I got John Fugelsang's book on audio book, and it's great now if I can remember it all to use against MAGA. Just keep reading it over and over again, Karen, or listening to it over and over again, and you'll be surprised. The stuff will just plop right out of your mouth. So anyhow, should I take down the pictures and change it to something else? Bethany S. Arbol says, didn't read the Harry Potter books. I did read Lord of the Rings books. I read Lord of the Rings back when I was in junior high school, which was a long time ago. And believe me, Tolkien, now that's a writer. Rowling, not so much. And yet, just to show you sort of the weird kind of unfairness of the world, how the world can be unfair. Tolkien, he probably died wealthy, I guess. I don't know. I never really checked into it. But he sure as fuck wasn't a goddamn billionaire. And fucking Rowling's a fucking billionaire now. And I think there's sort of an injustice there. Now, the Tolkien family might be billionaires by now. I don't know. The estate, maybe they're getting a bunch of royalties and shit, probably. So his heirs might be billionaires at this point. I don't know. Here I am just spouting off. I'm just spouting off a bunch of shit that I'm probably going to regret saying. Karen Ames says, Hal is going on at 1:30 Pacific time. Wow. Hey, dude, I could do another half an hour. Should we do that? At about 1:30 my time? That's only 31 minutes. So I could do 31 minutes standing on my head. You know me. So we'll do that, huh, Jolie and Aaron? We'll do another 31 minutes, and we'll just raid. Now I don't have the capacity or to do like the official raid with buttons and shit. So you guys are on your own. You have to just we can put Hal's link in it later on when we get closer. We can put the link, and then you guys can just hit the link and go right over there and just say this is a Trucker John raid. If you guys want to, it's completely optional. But Roxanne says Hal should be starting at 4 Eastern in like 3 minutes. Oh. Well, that's not good. I mean, it's good, but all right. I'm going to put my TV on. I mean, I'm going to put it on the Hal Sparks channel over here. And then we'll see what happens. Right now, I don't see anything. It's 1 o'clock. I don't see Hal on yet. But if he does come on, then we'll just jump over there. Apparently, between now and 1:30, we'll be jumping over there. Now, Jolie has a good link here. It says Separation of Church and Hate by John Fugelsang through Liberal Dan. So if you're going to buy the book, would you please consider going through Liberal Dan's, the link there, and then Liberal Dan will get a little something. All right, guys. So if all 40 of you watching right now, if you are thinking about buying the book, John Fugelsang's The Separation of Church and Hate, hit that link that Jolie has posted there. That will, and you can buy the book through there, and then that'll help Liberal Dan out a little bit. That'll give him a little something, something. A little something, something. All right, guys? So that would be great if you could do that. MJ Daniel says, I still have Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Silmarillion in my bookshelf. Those are good ones to keep on your bookshelf. Damon says, do it. Stand on your head for 31 minutes. Well, now we're down to 28 minutes. Jolly says, yes, you can do it. Raid at Hal's. Okay. Yeah, we're going to raid. We'll do a raid. I don't know if he's coming on at 1 or 1:30. We have conflicting reports. David Dog, I'll get a Twitch notice when Hal goes live. Okay, Damon. So you let us know. Right now, since I put it on my TV, and if I put it on Hal's channel, it just automatically started playing. I think an old one. It's playing right now. It's playing a Hal Sparks Show from a year ago. It's got. Remember that one Stefford wife bitch? I think she's a U.S. House rep. Looks like she's straight out of the Stefford Wives. And she did that little Republican response, I think, to Joe Biden's State of the Union address. This is the one where Hal has got her a picture of her on there, and he's doing all kinds of stuff with a green screen on her shirt. So, kind of funny. Jolie reminding everyone we have channel memberships and super chats. We've gone 0 for 5 on the goal today, but that's okay. We also have memberships starting as low as $1.99 a month, $1.99 a month. Great value, I think, for your money. Today is Monday. I might do a members only Monday something today. I might drop something members only Monday at some point. So be on the look at that. Be on the lookout for that. And yeah, there's the links to buy me a coffee and the PayPal if you want to help support the show, help keep us going and growing. Roxanne says, do we have to jump over to Hal, or does TJ just send us over? You have to jump over. I don't have, I'm not able to send people over, regardless of what people may say. I don't have the capability to do it from my devices and from my Prism Live. I don't have the ability to do that. So you're going to have to go on your own, but you can either go on your own, or if we'll put Hal's link in the chat when he goes on. Kinky Tree says she's a senator in Alabama. Right. You got it, Kinky. You know. Yeah, what was her name? Kate, was it Katie something? Katie Sheets? Katie Beats? Katie Bates? Catherine Bates? Whatever, something, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. P-Dub says, thanks for the stream. You're welcome. You're welcome. Roxanne says Hal is on. Okay, let me look. I don't see him on. Oh yeah, okay, he is on. Okay, so he's got his opening stream thingy, you know. So Roxanne, I'll raid Hal. See you over there. Thank you, Roxanne. Thanks for doing that. Jolie says Trucker John raid at Hal's. David Dog, I like Hal until he starts playing MAGA people like Tim Pool. Russell S is here. Hey, Russell says Trucker John, who are the pictures of? That is me and my friends from when I was in high school. The bottom picture is I'm on the left. My friend Lyndall is on the right. We were just being goofy, and we get made fun of for that by people in the chat. But that's okay because we're goofballs. And then the top picture is me with the helmet on, and Lyndall's little brother Lindsay like pretending like he's gonna attack me or something. And this is all back from high school, back in the late 70s. Lynette, thank you, TJ, new sub here. Thank you, Lynette, for subbing. I appreciate you so much for that. James Hermino says, how's it going live? Yeah, I have him on. It still has just the little opening, his little screen there with the, looks like a container village. Yeah, you can hear it. Can you guys hear it? See, I've got it on. I got it playing.
Special place in the heart. Oh, I'm starting early, so this is going to throw everybody. I know it.
So yeah, if you guys want to go over there, Hal's on. You can hear his voice. He said, "Oh, I'm starting early." So I'm going to go ahead and do the outro, and you guys can jump over. If Jolie, if you want to put the Hal's link up, that would be great. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So guys, just remember, words of wisdom for today are as follows. Okay, you ready for the words of wisdom? Here we go.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant. But I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John Livestream. Yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John Livestream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I'll turn it through want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over, I'm out of here, folks. Bye.